right.
We got three.
We are live. Ready?
1.
Let's go.
We here with no ID. This is Kenny Analyst. We here with no at the Common Knowledge podcast. Still, we're trying to work out these kinks right now.
First, we didn't even talk about who was gonna do the intro. You just bust through the door with it.
Yeah, I mean, we can work that thing out too if you're feeling inspired.
Just bust through the door. I'm like, dang, we didn't even get over that.
We already live. You can't
Yeah.
iron it out live.
Yeah, you're right. But yes, this is the Common Knowledge podcast. I want to give a special shout out to KX, to PK, my videography lady, to Gunna and L. Without them, I would have never met KX. So for them building the bridge, for the connections, and just bringing me into an environment for the people with life, and they got motion and everything. So I want to give a special shout out to these people. All right, let's get to work.
Yeah, so this is a whole new endeavor for both of us.
Yeah.
Just trying to put our feet into new fields, but you felt like you had a passion, or you was like inspired to like make these things happen. And it's like the location of the studio, the way you met everybody, the way all of this failed together. Like, can you speak to that passion that you had?
To be completely honest with you, I had it for a really long time. Like, I would say I had it like maybe a year in advance and everything, maybe 2 to be honest with you. I ain't have no motion. I just did a lot of thinking and talking, but I ain't put no action into it. So, once it's so crazy because, it started something as simple as starting a conversation talking about rap music, and I come across a person like L and everything, and we just having these deep dives on music and everything, and he invite me to a show, which ended up leading me here. But it was like once I met him, and once he brought me around these other artists and these other people that was just out here living a dream or doing what they was passionate about, it really inspired me. It's one thing when you think of something and you can't see yourself doing it because you don't know nobody and you don't know where to go. It's another thing when the universe kind of puts you in place, and now it's like, yo, I'm answering your questions, or I'm answering some of your thoughts. Now what you gonna do with it? And ever since then, after that, it was like I had to. Like, now it was no excuse. Like, for me to be like, yo, I want to do a podcast, and there's a studio up the street and don't do nothing with it. now that really falls on me and everything.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely heavy. Like they say the term is paralysis by analysis, and that happens to me like a lot. I can't even choose a credit card without looking at if it's 100 credit cards available. I'm about to be doing the research on all of them, and then it's like so much information that you end up not making a choice.
Mm-hmm.
But making a choice is better than no choice. But just going back into the passion side of it, I told you like when we first started talking, like
how do you know what's your purpose? How do you know what's your passion?
Purpose and passion, because it's like I had a real bad stint of nihilism.
Yeah.
And being nihilistic is when you can't see the meaning in anything, because at the end everybody ends up in the same box. So it's like, why do anything if at the end nothing matters? But things do matter, which I ended up finding out. But it's like finding that meaning ahead of time. Like how you be like, I found my purpose.
Yeah. You know what that is? That's just finding your enjoyment and everything. Like, I enjoy video games and everything. I ain't the greatest at it, but I enjoy it. When it comes to this podcast, I'm a person that like to talk. I like to talk. I like to deep dive. I like to share information. So it's crazy that you say that, because we both got the same job.
Right.
I'm pretty
You a lawyer too?
Huh?
You a lawyer too?
Yep, that's exactly what we are, lawyers, good ones. But when we out here and we listen to these people's stories and we solving these cases, it's gotta be a moment in time when you are in your head and you're like dreaming or daydreaming or coming up with things that you would really like to do or something that you're really into. And like I remember I was listening to TD Jake's book. Um it was something about destiny, finding your destiny and everything. And he said you would never sit right spiritually if you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And all these ideas that come to your head, and if you're not acting on none of them, you're just gonna feel worse. The so for this right here, this is something that's been heavy on my heart. I just never act on it and everything. So just acting, just the toughest thing about acting on certain things or getting to your purpose or just doing something, getting stepping out of the box is literally getting over the hurdle of doing it and everything. That was the hardest. This getting to this point and just like I have all types of insecurities, bro.
Yeah.
Like my insecurities is going through the roof right now. So I think when you say that, when you ask like, yo, how do you know what's your purpose? It gotta have something to do with when the universe is planting all these ideas in your head for something that you're not even going to school for, something that you're not even on a random day. You ain't looking up nothing. It ain't going to come across your timeline, but it's something that creatively just come up inside your head mentally, and that has to play a huge role. That's how I personally feel. That had to play a huge role in everything.
Yeah.
Like, what about you? Like, what is some things that you think about that you see yourself doing besides being a lawyer and keeping people out of jail?
I mean, but definitely like my love for music is through the roof, and it's like I have love for those things, but it's like throughout the years, like you get so your time gets taken up by the mundane and things just fall away from you. Like I used to play piano day and night,
Mm.
and it's like I usually wouldn't let myself go a year without learning a new song, but I haven't learned any new songs for years. So it's like that also leads into like you know the nihilism of like why even practice so hard at this thing if it doesn't really matter, nothing really matters. But it's like I'm supposed to just continue it because of just the love I have for it.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I will say, you know, that's something that you could pass down to your kids and everything. They may take it further than you took it, or you may end up taking it even further. I think, and it's so crazy when you bring that up, like the distractions of life, the worries of life, the worries of having a place to stay, the worries of your relationship, the worries of just bills and everything. One of the things that I saw that I thought that was kind of that was interesting for me, even when we talk about L a little bit, like the thing we talked about when I seen like the first time I seen him go out and he just made his own lane of money and everything. When I went to the event and I see all these people selling their artwork, and this is stuff that they love. So if for me, it felt like whether they had the money or not, or whether it was like I will figure it out. And I think the thing with some of us when it comes to acting on our thoughts and dreams or visions and goals, like how you say, like how do you do it when you got all this other stuff to worry about and you start worrying about other people when you got kids and stuff. I think we get lost in that and we get so afraid to. It gets to a point where we get afraid to step out the box. Like it gets to a point where when we afraid to take chances and everything.
Oh yeah, I mean, because the risks do be heavy. Like
it, it's not as heavy. You want to know something? It feels like it's heavy because it's like we think that losing your home is the worst thing that can happen to you when it's really not. We like the worst thing that can happen, to be honest with you, in my eyes, is when you lose the ability to move. Like once you lose the ability to think, see, you lose the ability to actually make a difference. That's when you're in danger. I think everything else, it can be all, bro. You can get that all back. You can fix everything. If you lose a car, you can still get another. I used to think, and it's so crazy. Like I used to think when you get repos and stuff like that, you can never get a car again. That's not even true.
Oh well, yeah, that's not
It's
true.
not true. Like so, the things that we're like so concerned about is not even the most. It's not even the most dangerous thing. Like the most dangerous thing that you can lose is your health. Now, because once you lose your health, now you can't make a difference at all, and you can't even do the stuff that you can't even do the stuff that you don't want to do
Yeah, I was
and everything.
just yesterday. I was looking at Bruce Willis and his wife. His wife is on.
Yeah,
He has frontal lobe dementia,
yeah.
and he just declining. So like he reached these highs and he achieved so much, and he can't even really
Remember
remember
who he
his own
is.
life.
Saw
That
that.
shit is absurd, and it's like, okay, you get frontal lobe dementia. That's just it, and it's like, it makes you appreciate just the small things. Like, yeah, we may not have the riches even that he has right now, but it's like you really would pay anything to be back at a normal state,
Get that back. Yeah.
which is also on a side tangent why the U.S. healthcare system is bullshit.
It is. It is. It's terrible. It's very. You want to know? I have a theory with that though. Like, there's a couple theories I have with that. Even with the healthcare system, in some cases, I think one of our it's like what we spoke before off mic. Like one of our biggest um mistakes in life is the way we look at money and everything. The way that we feel like, hey, if your insurance can't cover this, I can't do that, even though your life is relying on that. Even and that's not even true
Yeah,
in real time.
but that's what I was talking about about the U.S. healthcare system being such a problem. Is like, how do you decide how much a heart costs? Like, if you decide how much a sandwich costs, you can judge that by supply and demand, how much you can, how much it could cost you to make it, and things of that nature. But like, if your heart is exploding, you will pay anything. So you can't be like, you can charge them anything, $450,000. And then if you ain't got the money or whatever, now you looking like John Q. You about to hold up the whole hospital. Oh, yeah, but
I will be on that time too. I would definitely be on that time. If I had a child, or if I had somebody that I really, really love, and they was doing that, something like that to my child, I would turn into that and everything. Like, what about you?
I mean, yeah, but just not to fly so much off on that tangent, but like because I can go off on that on the healthcare system all day, but more so about your passion and inspiration. You were saying like you have been thinking about this for 2 years,
Yeah, right,
so
right.
it's like
Yeah.
who's like I could be a podcast. Is it just from your love to talk?
I think that's one of them. I think the other thing is when I look at the field and I realize that I'm overthinking. At one point I was that's why I say like I have a lot of insecurities. So at one point I was looking at the field and I'm looking at everybody and everybody using these fancy words. They know what they're talking about. They connected. They got better stories and things of that nature. So I was like intimidated by all of that because I was like, man, I don't know that. I don't speak that well. My grammar's kind of off. I don't know how I'm gonna look on the camera. I don't, there was a lot of things that even though I wanted to do it, I was having insecurities and I was also thinking my way out of it. So on top of the little distractions and everything. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I was like, and I would look at equipment and stuff like that, but then I wouldn't hit the green. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't buy it. It would just be in my cart and everything. I think when I think once I think if I'm being honest with you, I think it was like one of my panic attacks that kind of also helped me out too.
what what were you doing initially? That you was like you sitting down eating some fries and then like damn I'm having a panic attack.
Not, and it's crazy because when I was chilling in the crib and out of nowhere, shortness of breath. And when you're having a panic attack, you stop. You make it worse because especially if you don't know what it is, you think you're dying.
Yeah, heart palpitations,
Yeah,
heart going out of
yeah. So I'm thinking that I'm dying and I'm freaking out and everything. And I go to the hospital. The hospital says nothing. Now I lost all faith in the hospital because I'm like, I don't even think these people are good enough to really help me. They don't even. I think I'm done. so, so I'm thinking like I'm done. Like I'm thinking I'm gonna, the heart attacks that's like silent killers.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that I can go any moment, any day type of thing. And I can also say that that was another thing that was like, even when that happened, I wasn't as like responsive, but it was something that was playing in the back of my head now. Cause it's like, I can. If you die, what have you done? Have you pushed yourself? Did you try? Did you at least try? And that's when the whole trying thing started hitting me harder. Like, man, I ain't even attempt. I ain't even try. I ain't even. What can I say? And everything.
Yeah, they say I always hear the anecdotal stories of people going through the hospitals. People on their
Mm-hmm.
last bed days and they about to die or whatever, and it's like you like when they are asked what they regret, they never regret the things that happened. Their regrets is always something that they haven't done.
Done. Correct.
I didn't get to do this, I didn't get to see this, and it's like it's never the mistakes they had or anything like that. So that was always a perspective. It's like any mistake, anything that you go through in life is something that can be learned from, even if it seems horrible. Like you were saying, like we feel like our homes is the worst thing we could lose, but like you had told me something about your story about being almost homeless, and I had a
Yeah.
similar experience. Like
Yeah.
my mom going into a coma when I was young. So I did exactly feel that, and it's like when I think back on that situation, even though it was it was terrible, like
Yeah.
it felt terrible in the moment, but when I look back, it added so much in like character and
To you.
appreciation and just looking at life in a different way. So it's like even the things that are terrible can add in a positive way. But not saying not to pay y'all bills. Pay y'all bills, man. Don't end up out there so you can get a good experience like me.
I I had a question. Do you feel like do you, if let's just say on a hypothetical scale, like let's just say with the piano thing, you had a chance or something came up like, yo, the best piano person can come up here and win a prize or just come up here and show their skills. If there was like a piano show, would you risk missing a couple of days of being a lawyer to pursue that?
It would be a whole lot because it's like you got to deal with your own self doubts and insecurity. Like me, I already know I haven't been practicing enough to be put on the spot like that. So it's like,
Oh, wait, we ain't practiced this.
yeah, I'm saying, but like, yeah, we in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like, to showcase a talent. I mean, if there was somebody who was like, come showcase my podcast skills, I'm like, but it is something I would definitely want to just start practicing more so that like you could be ready. Because like I told you before, success is when preparation meets opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So I would hate, Stevie Wonder on stage and he like, yo, young man, come on up here. And I'm, oh my God, I ain't practiced shit.
Yeah, but you know what? But the pressure, believe it or not, the pressure may end up drilling in. It could enhance you. It could make you do because you'll be under such a. Sometimes when you under that level of pressure, you end up doing
Overperform.
you're overperforming. So some of your web skills or some of the skills that's been dormant may come out and may come out even cleaner. I had that, still had that in me, So so when things like that, that's why it's so crazy. But it's like it's almost like when it's important to take a leap of faith. That is a very important thing to, and so I feel so. I hate that I'm learning this at such an old age in life, but taking a leap of faith and just doing some stuff without thinking, because without thinking, without trying to make it perfect, is important. Because the more I, like, even with this, meeting with my video photographer, um, I'm trying to make things perfect, and everything. Some people say like, yo, you could just use your phone, and still wouldn't. I'm looking at it's almost like what you said. You're like, yo, you're looking at the shell, and I'm trying to show you the motor
Yeah.
and everything. So I'm looking at Joe Budden podcast. Oh man, maybe bleep that out if I can. But I'm looking at other people podcasts, and I'm like, oh man, that look at clean. That look how they said, and I'm trying to mimic that. So I'm going after the big features first. So I'm thinking I need a big camera, a big production thing. I'm really, trying to put that together.
Trying to
Like I was
build Rome in a day.
yeah, I was working. I'm up here trying to build relationship with strangers, acting like I know you for 30 years. You know, like I was really on that time and everything, and it it took all the way up until like one of like somebody that I spoke to, and it was like, stop trying to make it perfect, just do it and everything.
But that also
And this is the leap of faith and everything.
but with the leap of faith, it also goes into how you deal with regrets as a person. Like, do you have like, man, like when you think about like in hindsight, because hindsight is always 2020, and you see things clearer. As you looking back on the situation that you know you could have did better in, how do you deal with that regret?
About making up for it now and everything. But when you ask that question, that is a really good question, and that do ties in to some of my actions. I do walk around with a lot of regret in some cases. Um, and my regret is mostly me not attempting anything. Um, but I guess it works hand in hand because it also kind of motivate me too to do something before it's too late. Because when you think of regret, you're like, dang, I should have did this. And now with that word lingering, now the thing becomes, what do I do next? Can I make it up? Is it too late to make it up? And then should I try to make it up? Should I move on from it and everything? So when regret come up, now it's a whole list of things that comes behind the regret. And now it's like, okay, so what you got the regret, but what you gonna do now? You regret that you didn't do this, or you didn't speak to this person, or you didn't achieve this goal. What are you going to do from the remaining time of your life, knowing what you know now and learning from what you just did? Because that's what that turned into. That's what it turned into. Now I have another regret when it comes to women, but we can but
Not saying that
we
we
can say
regret
that for
anything.
later.
Not saying that we regret anything that we any type of relationships that we in right now, because we are happy in our relationships right
Correct,
now.
correct. We are very grateful. Appreciate every little thing that happens. Thank you.
Yeah.
All of it.
Love those women.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, that was pretty good. We could end up expounding on that a little bit more, but it's just a little backstory. We got Rampage Jackson has a son. He's streaming on Kick, but Rampage Jackson is a legend, and of course, his son living in his shadow. His dad is looked at as a tough, stand up guy that also don't take any shit. So it's like him being in his father's shadow. I think it's also a combination of him trying to live up to his dad's legend. But what he ended up doing is he ended up going to a amateur pro wrestling event, and one of the pro wrestlers thought he was trying to be in pro wrestling, and he saw that he was recording, and he took a prop can and cracked it on his head.
So, for the fans that may not know, you said a prop can, right?
Right.
So pretty much it was like a fake can.
Yeah.
All right.
So it didn't do any physical pain, but it wounded his ego and pride, because it's like for him to react and how he ended up reacting is clearly something that was already buried. So it's like the amateur wrestler was like, oh, I didn't know that you would overreact like that. I didn't know the fact that sorry they squashed the beef and hash it out. But clearly, Roger, he's holding all of this resentment, and he's still upset about the situation, even though they said that it was handled. So now his Kick stream is laughing at him, saying that he didn't stand up for himself and things like that. So he's dealing with clearly past traumas of him not being able to live up to his father's legacy, and he's also getting taunted by people on the internet at this moment. So he's the promoters of the amateur event. They end up seeing the footage that's going viral of him getting the can cracked on his head. So they like, we'll lean into this. Hop in the ring. Attack him a little bit, and we're gonna have some guys pull you off, and then, you know, it'll help with, his ego of looking like he is defending himself or whatever. But it's just good-hearted fun
Yeah.
for the wrestling. It was supposed to be fake, basically. It wasn't supposed to be real hits. And he like, I'm about to really get up there and hit him, and they better come get me quick. They better come. I'm gonna hit him as many times as I can. So with the quote unquote blessing from the promoters, he jumps in there and attacks the amateur wrestler dude. Slams him. He goes unconscious, and he's beating him as he's unconscious. He could have killed him. And then, after he gets kicked out and he's leaving, he's like, "See, I told y'all I'm not no bitch. I told y'all I'm not no bitch." And that's what he's harping on. Even though he knew that he could beat up the amateur wrestler, he shouldn't have did that. And where does the restraint as a man come in?
How old is he?
I'm not sure of his age.
The reason why I asked for the age, because it seemed like he was very immature. Because one of the things that that I saw in the video that you showed me was the guy apologized to him. The guy was like, "I'm sorry, I ain't, I was just messing with you. I ain't, I wasn't trying to really offend you or nothing like that." And usually, apology get the job done for most men in real time. But usually, if a person,
does it though? I've seen some shit.
You know what it depends on. It depends on who's standing around.
Yeah, because like he feels fronted off by the crowd.
Yeah,
he's in a new space, and he's getting fronted off by his kick stream. So he's getting looked at, and I just feel like me, without even knowing his story, is oh, he couldn't have did that to your dad though. Your dad wouldn't have took that. So it's like in Rampage Jackson, he probably wouldn't have took that, but he wouldn't have reacted in that way.
But Rampage is a professional, so Rampage would have. He probably would have did something without even laying a finger on him. He probably would have just stood tough to him. He probably would have just flexed his body to him. He knows that feel. He like, "Yo, this is what we do,"
right,
and everything. He would have beat him in some sort of some sort of mental way.
But even
and everything,
even with the promoters giving him the chance to get in the ring to do like the fake fight, he would have still been looked at in a positive light. But he couldn't even see that far. He just overreacted to the whole situation. Because, like, if they, like, we're going to let you get in there and you can attack him and we're going to get some guys to pull you off. And then, like, that could have still, looked like he was defending himself.
Yeah.
But, like, he really tried to kill the dude. And it's like he was really releasing trauma on dude's head, for real. he was releasing childhood trauma. He was releasing everything.
Or he could have just been fighting for brownies. A moment, fighting for a viral moment that looked good on his behalf. A lot of young guys in this day and age, or for what I see, they would do because they would do outlandish stuff just to get for a bunch of strangers to tell them that they are I don't even know if they use cool anymore, but for a bunch of strangers to verify what they do, or to gaslight them, or to make them like, "Oh man, you the man, nah, ain't nobody." And it's like it's all like it's like smoke and mirrors. It's like it's not even you're fighting for what fake props, I guess. And everything. You don't even the people that's in this kit, you won't even speak to these people ever again. That might be the last with the comments that was left on his screen. Probably be the last comment they ever get from that person again.
Taking that advice, it has saved me, but it leads to a lot of anger. So it's like if somebody disrespects you off the cuff, or you feel disrespected, and you know that you could react in a crazy brash way, but you end up don't doing it because you looking past the moment and you trying to have some foresight. and you make the right choice, which is not engaging with somebody that's disrespecting you,
Yeah.
but it bruises the ego. You get bitched out.
You would.
So it's
I
like, how do you deal like, and then like you think about it like, I could have broke this nigga in half, but I
you
didn't. I let it slide.
you you wanna for me. I'm afraid to go to prison. I can't go to prison. I can't go. So I can't take that stuff personal because I know what you feel, and there was moments I have though. That's why, believe it or not, to this day, granted I got something, but it took a long time for me to even get a weapon
Yeah,
because I didn't think I was mature enough to have one and everything.
because you couldn't control the anger, or you just would have did something reckless.
I think I would have did. I think I would have. I might have would have went off on the first person that I get disrespected a lot being a lawyer. All types of threats.
I know this nigga ain't step on my shoes.
Yeah, you
know
get
what I got in the
disrespected a
trunk.
lot. People give you the finger and everything. But it's for me. It's always my main thing is I just want to make it to the crib. I just want to make it home and everything. Have you ever seen Lockdown?
No, I have
What
not.
about you? Have you ever seen Lockdown? Remember that scene when he was fighting his cellmate and he couldn't win? Like,
And what
um,
happened? What happened when he couldn't win?
he had to submit.
And what
He had to
he made
make
him take a nap. But he submitted to what?
he submitted to um making somebody else feel good all night, making the cellmate feel happy all night, giving the cellmate a good night's rest. Multiple happy endings.
So
Willing.
he's trying to win a fight that he can't win, and he just gave up.
He gave because what do you do when you in the cell and he's fighting? Like he's fighting. Imagine you got your fist balled up. You trying to give chest blows. You trying to slam this person and you can't win. This person is just overpowering you all night long. Now you either
Okay, I mean, you ain't got to head on to the visual.
now
Overpowering all night long.
but that's am I wrong? PK, tell him I ain't tripping.
So is how old were you when you saw that movie?
I was a teenager. I had them in at least 15, 16.
So it's like, so your overall fear of jail is what kept your emotions in check. Like
Yes.
you always was thinking about the consequences.
Yes, I can't. I see like I got cousins that went to jail, and they went in, they came out looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger and stuff like that. I just think some people. I think when some people go to jail, if you're not connected and everything, it's gonna be hell. And unfortunately, I ain't run the streets enough.
Yeah.
So I can't go. I can't be in a situation where I'm fighting a cellmate and I gotta choose between sleep. I can make this all go away by giving in. No, I'm good. You got it. But when it comes to
Just the male ego.
yeah, just the male ego, I've been in those situations, and those are extremely tough situations because sometimes you don't even sleep.
Yeah.
You can't sleep. It can eat at you for days, sometimes months. Sometimes you'll replay situations over and over in your head. I am very familiar with that, but the thing that always keep me in line is, oh yeah, you can you can body him or you can do that, but can you handle what comes next? And it's like, nah, I can't handle that. I can't go to jail and everything. And like this, even if you do try to handle it, there's a great chance that you may lose. Somebody could disrespect you, and you could be like, yo, I'm gonna go handle this person, and
He handle you too.
and you handle now you just took a
you-
double L.
Now, that's when the killings come through. Now that's when you see somebody on the news, because like people can't deal with that. It's like, oh, so I got to hold the disrespect and the ass beating. Let me go load this.
Facts. You may take a double L. So in a lot of cases, it's like for me, it's like okay, you got it. It ain't. In today's time, I'm learning not to take things personal. I have to learn not to take stuff personal putting this together.
Yeah.
And everything.
Because I mean, definitely, like people, you having foresight, even if it's fear based, is still a blessing overall. But some people really just can't see the forest from the trees. They cannot think past the moment. This moment right here, I'm about to lose my mind in this bar. I'm about to
Yeah.
crack somebody with a bottle, whatever. And it's like, and then you got a huge group of irrational people that will talk down on you for being rational. So like if like maybe your disrespect happened in private and not
Yeah.
many people can recount to it, but if you got disrespected in public, like if you come into your lawyer office one day and somebody just throw juice on you and start laughing,
Oof.
it would take a lot.
My heart
So
would drop to my stomach. Yo,
so it's like so
that's
not
pressure.
so you got the initial disrespect, but now you have the public perception of you getting disrespected.
Yeah,
To not fly off in that moment, it would take everything.
it
would take
does.
everything.
It does. And you know, it's so crazy. Even when you put that, when you put that in perspective, now, you know, there's no fighting in the courtroom and everything. There's no fighting in the, you know, now you got to worry about being knocked out of your place in your work position and everything. Now you judging like, is it worth?
On the line. Yeah,
Yeah, is it worth that? So for me, those it's always been something like that was able to keep me in line. Like it was always something of that nature that kept me like, okay, man, you know, I got this going on. I got to get this. I can't be going back and forth with you. But I will say this though. The only way that I may lose that ability if I'm with my woman.
Oh yeah, you gotta hold
Because
it down.
it's a zero time. Because
you gotta hold it down.
yeah, you have to hold. You don't have a choice because if you don't, now she's not gonna look at you the same. Now it's gonna be awkward in the home. Now you can't even be tough in the crib for a couple of days. You can't. You can't
when
show
that nigga threw juice on you. Don't get tough with me.
You can't say nothing slick. You can't get tough. You got to be mindful with the argument. Cause now that's gonna be something. That's what like when we was speaking off camera, like how an argument could be worse than the beat. Now if she's bringing that up, your ego's already hurt, and she bringing it up. Now it's like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Like it was a movie called I think it was Crash with Ludacris, Terrence Howard, Terrence Howard and everything. And then it was a scene when he got pulled over by the cops, and the cop kind of grabbed this girl and like kind of like touched her inappropriately in front of him. Yeah, assaulted her in front of him. And then like when they get home, you know, they got into an argument, and then she was like, well, why you ain't do nothing? He was like, what do you want me to do? It's a cop. Yeah. You know, and it's like in that situation, and that's like that's a fear. Like when I go out with my girl, I scope the area. I'll try to scan everybody, see who may be a threat. Like I'm like Secret Service when I go to places where I'm like, who can be a threat? How can I move? How can I get her out the way first? And everything. Like if something was to ever go down with people talking crap and things of that nature, I already have a plan. Like, all right, babe, don't argue with me. Just get in the car.
Yeah, you get up out of here. I hold them off.
I can
let you see. I can get my ass beat in private. Look like you held it down. Six niggas around you. Like, oh no, I held it down.
Yeah, because for me personally, I can take jump. I can get jump. I can do that.
Yeah.
I won't be able to sleep knowing
something happened to her.
That I let somebody sock you in the face.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, you're not sleeping well after that.
Yeah.
Then she gonna try to play it cool, not to bruise your ego, but she gonna be like, oh, it's okay, knowing that it's not okay. Like, yo, you let me get punched in the face. You ain't protect me. You ain't no protector.
It reminds me of that Kevin Hart joke. He was like, you know, I'm the type of man that, you know, if you out with me and a nigga bunch you in the eye, I just gotta help you figure out why you got hit so we can prevent it from happening in the future. Because like Kevin, he's super small. He's not physically
Yeah.
imposing at all. So you can only imagine what that nigga was dealing with before he can afford security and all that.
Yeah, but for what? But with women, no, it's zero tolerance for that. I mean, like, how do you feel about that, Kate? Like, do you feel like that a man have to get in front of, have a safe plan for you to get out the way if some things about to go down with multiple guys?
You would hope that man would be willing to defend. But like you said, I don't want him to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. We're gonna assess this situation together. If it's threefold niggas that's bigger than all of us, it's okay, baby. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna worry about your ego, nothing. I understand. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't help you. You gonna get your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't much I can do. So I'm throw some shit. I'm gonna help out. But I'm not gonna expect for my guy, because I don't want him to be in that situation to put his life on the line, especially if it's unnecessary. Just walk away. You know what I'm saying? We can deal with a lot of stuff, especially with you guys as being lawyers. We can go to court about this stuff. We're adults now. We go to jail. We go to court. We call the police. I'm cool with that.
Right.
Yeah, but just to tie that all back in, the dealing with the male ego and the deal with it being shattered like that is really dangerous. People get killed every day. So like me looking at how Rampage Jackson's son just flew off the handle, I just could imagine what he was dealing with psychologically. So like he's dealing with all of these different pressures, and his ego was getting shattered by a joke. It was only by a joke though. But it's like his ego, it was already fragile, clearly, before that situation.
Because we also got to add that to the fact. Some of these people be sensitive.
Yeah.
Like, extremely sensitive. Some people are going off on people for no reason at all and everything. Like, it's fragile. And you gotta add that. So even, that's why I say when I saw that, and I saw that the guy apologized, and I saw that he still felt some type of way, there's only one other thing left that's motivating him, that's fueling him, and that's a bunch of strangers and everything. I don't think he does that if that chat thing is not live. If that's not live, I don't think he does that. I think he take the apology, he shake the hand, he might even get an autograph with him and everything. I think that situation plays completely different without the public telling you what you are and what you're not and everything. And
it's like being a child in school, and then like somebody didn't get like a wet napkin and they slapped you on the back of the head, and the whole class, ooh.
That's the worst feeling.
How you gonna do it? How you gonna have the ability to be the bigger man?
That is the worst feeling ever. School is different. School.
He in school right now, so he got the can put on his head. Now you got the whole crowd and his chat saying, "Ooh, what do you like?" School. That's what that was. That's what that was.
You know what the difference is in the classroom? Your crush may be in that classroom, man.
His crush may be watching the stream.
You can't be taking no L's in front of your crutches, man. There's a zero tolerance for that. Yeah. And everything. That's gonna be the first person you look at too. You'll look past everybody and look at the female like, I got to now.
Got to take that suspension.
You gave me no choice.
Because it's like, I mean, even though he handled it, I just feel like he just overreacted.
Yeah, that was definitely overkill.
Nah, he just like, man, so like now he just sparked national outrage
and race.
Also, yeah, adding to the race war, because like now everybody that even wouldn't have been paying attention to the situation is paying, because like now it's a white versus black thing. Oh, look at this black person acting like the blacks act, and it's like, he don't know how he upset me just off of that. Like, especially in this day and age, we all got to be on our best behavior, because like now him doing that, that's a representation for how we act.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's not how we really act in real time. Like, when you really think about us and how they say that the way they portray us, it's not us in our natural state and everything. Most times they just going off of
the extremes.
the
all
extremes,
the way to the
or they
side.
going off movies, or they going off music and everything. Or even when you drive through our rough areas and everything, we're not even really that out of control and everything.
And it's not just a race by race thing. Like people, is more separation in between race than between the races themselves. So it's like I cannot fit a stereotype in the race, but then they try to look past that and say that I'm an exception. But like it's a bunch of people like me.
Mm.
Like when Barack Obama first became president, he didn't fit the stereotype of being a black man, him being successful, well read, and the president. Oh, well yeah, he's black, but he's an exception. No, 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 don't come up with a caveat because y'all see great blacks or whatever, but like you
Yeah,
want to generalize everything and put everybody in a box. But then when something breaks the norm, oh, he's an exception. Bullshit. There's a lot of people like that.
you you want to know what I think it is? I think we just need to stop fighting for and stop letting white people words and approval hold so much weight when it comes to us and everything. I think we have to get rid of their weight on how we are portrayed. Because the problem, I think that's the biggest of the biggest issues when it comes to our race, right? So we feel like we're deemed successful once we get the
They
green
approve.
light from them, their approval, and it shouldn't be that way at all. I don't think no other race really look at their success back them neither. I think we're like one of the, if there is another race, I don't want to say right now, but I think we're like the only ones that really look for their approval. And then once we get it, it's like, okay, now we want to be in their circles. For real.
but
And I think we gotta take the weight from their approval. We
but
gotta
more
figure
so,
out a way to do that.
we look for their approval, but like a
And we gonna
lot,
get fired once the office here.
we don't mean
So
nothing that we saying.
that's like that. They gonna be like, so that's what you think of us? I mean,
There was but more so of us just looking for their approval. It's a lot of race assimilation. So like back in the early 1900s, coming up to the 40s, like an Irishman was not white. If you was Scottish, you was not white. If you was Italian, you was not white. You was looked at different.
yeah, yeah.
But now they have assimilated. If you see an Irish person, he's white today.
I think that's mostly here in the United States. I
No,
think in
I
other
mean,
countries like Canada, Europe, they still call them by their nationality of and everything.
I can't. I mean, not in the West. I can't say so because it's like it's a lot of assimilation. So then you even have the Latinos. They try to assimilate. You will see a white presenting white acting Latino. I was watching Godfrey. He was making fun of him because they was a bunch of Latinos and Cubans singing for Donald Trump. They President Donald Trump. Donald Trump, and then they started getting their asses deported, and they was like, "Oh, well, we wasn't expecting him to turn on us. We was rocking with Donald Trump." So it's like they do. It's a lot of assimilation that's going on. So as we, we feel like we have to look for the approval of whites. The other races, they're just saying they are white
Yeah,
if they white passing or whatever. So like it's a whole nother complication. But it's like where I think that comes from. I just think it's just purely that we outnumbered. Like we 13% of the country,
hmm
so we are surrounded by all of these people. That's the other and things like that. So it just leads to okay, I'm surrounded by all of these people. I don't want them looking at me a certain way, so I'm gonna just try to do things that they approve of just so that I can survive because they'll railroad you through the system.
I don't- I think once upon a time, yes, I think we can't no longer use those like the tricks and the gimmicks and the games and the the stronghold that they had on the system and the stronghold they had on black success and black jobs and black anything is no longer there. And I think we're still operating like it is there. So sometimes even when we speak, we still speak as, oh well, they'll put you through this or they'll put you through this or I can't have this because the whites and it's no longer that. I
Not
think
completely, yeah.
yeah, now it's because now it's the thing is I think there's still tricks still being played. I think there's traps still being played. I just think that they're so obvious, and I think a lot of us are still falling for them like silly. But I think into like right now as we speak, the stronghold is now gone. So it's like there's nothing stopping you from getting a building. There's nothing stopping you from getting a certain type of loan. There's nothing stopping you from starting anything now. And then compared to back in the, I would say like the early '60s and the '50s and stuff like that, when you couldn't even when you couldn't buy a building or you couldn't run a bank or you couldn't get a certain loan or you couldn't create something without their passes or you could like at one point you couldn't even buy a house without their green light. You couldn't even play sports without them in putting you in there. So
So like I say like
yeah.
they
So now it's like now we can't. It's no longer a thing of them being in our way. Now we just in our way. But I do think that they'll take certain black people and kind of like Sexy Red. I think she's like part of the trap.
a CIA
Yeah,
operative.
I do. I
But
do.
just think talking about I would say definitely we more empowered now than we have ever been in history.
Yeah.
But it's still tricks being played. Like I was looking at a story. A guy in New York, he owns a $800,000 building, almost $1 million building, right? So in New York, the state can seize your property for unpaid utility bills. Okay, so he has a property, $800,000, but he also has tenants staying in there. So what ended up happening is his water bill got fractured, and so his water he's paying a water bill. His water is on in this building, but a piece of his water bill was fractured, sold off into stock, and then that bill rose up to $5,000. Okay, so he has a water bill that he doesn't even know about, gets sold off to stockholders, and seized by the state, and now they're trying to take his $800,000 house for a $5,000 water bill that he didn't even know he had.
Oh,
And that shit is insane. So like he got lawyers on it. They fighting the case right now, but the fact that he even got to fight a case based on a system that he wasn't fully informed of is insane. So it's like you like when especially when I was young,
yeah.
like I knew about what a mortgage was, and I was like, okay, I pay a mortgage because I'm paying off a house over
Ah,
20, 30 years,
yeah.
whatever it may
Yeah.
be. But at the end, I shouldn't be able to lose it. But then you learn that
You can still
after
lose it.
after you
Taxes.
get through you still got state taxes, you got IRS withholdings, you got all of these different ways that they can seize your property, and he's about to lose his building for an unpaid water bill. So it's like as power and he's black. So as powerful as we are in power right now, there's still government structures set up to try to take our power away from us.
I, and yes and no. Granted that is something that slipped through the cracks and
I
everything.
mean, that's
Yeah,
a huge crack. I mean,
yeah.
that's more than
that,
just a crack.
that
That's a government
yeah,
set up way to fail.
yeah. That is something that slipped through the cracks. But now it's a fair game because when you think about okay, now I got lawyers, I got people that's really fight, which is the same people that set them up or whatever the case may be, is now you can utilize these same people. Because once upon a time, if you had told that story earlier, I mean not earlier, but if that story was happening in the '60s,
He would have no recourse.
it would have been nothing. Building gone.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even be able to get the lawyer would have been sent you off and everything. The
they,
lawyer, been,
they the lawyer.
the lawyer would be like, "Yeah, I tried everything. I told them that it was a mistake. They said no, and then sent you on your way." But now it's like, okay, it's fair game now. Now I can fight fire with fire. Now I I can still have my building.
I mean,
If
he win,
if
what
he
if he
win?
don't win? What if he if he doesn't win?
That's messed
So
up.
it's like the fact that he's in a position to fight. It's like it's just parts of the system that was not built in your benefit. So it's like
Yeah.
it's not that we powerless, but it's just parts of the system that was not built for us.
Yeah, but I think it's affecting that this same system affect just about everybody almost equally. Almost, I would say almost. Granted, I still think that we're judged a lot harsher and everything, but now you're seeing also other races go through the same thing fairly. And like, have you ever seen this movie called The Juror, number 7, or the Juror, or the number 2 Juror,
The jury,
the jury.
I haven't never seen it.
Okay, so and it's so crazy because it's like in the beginning of the movie, it'd be like, yo, the system is flawed, right? And it's a story about. So pretty much what happened is a dude accidentally um runs this girl over, runs her off the road. He kills her, right? So now the person that accidentally kills the girl is a juror for the
trial.
So the person that they think killed her was a boyfriend. And the reason why they think he killed her is because they had an argument that same night at the bar. And she stormed off and walked into a stormy, rainy, walked off into the rain at night.
And she ends up dead with nothing related to him.
She ends up dead with nothing related to like the juror, but since he was the last person, the boyfriend was the last person synced with her, they think it was him.
Yeah, but like he didn't have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but he ain't had nothing to do with it. Yeah. So this was the part when I realized, and I was like, yo, I didn't even know that it really goes down like this. I ain't realized how much power that the juror have, right? And it's scary because you got 6 people in the room, tired, they don't want to be there. They just trying to get in and get out, but they all gotta agree, if they all gotta be on the same accord. So they look at this guy got tattoos on him. They listen to the stories. They was like, yeah, they was at the bar and he hit the table real hard. He was really angry, and she looked at worried. You got an old man out there because there was when the girl died, that the old man like saw a car, but it was pitch dark outside. So one of the witnesses like, I saw him. He saw something. He saw somebody, but he didn't see him. He just said, I saw him, without verifying that it was exactly him. It couldn't tell. So this guy,
bullshit eyewitness.
Yeah. So after the jury is tired, they like, look, he's guilty. I know these type of, everybody like, I know them type of guys. They thugs. They this, they that, and the other. He's guilty. The person that did is trying to convince everybody. His whole goal is to convince everybody, like, if we can just say he didn't do it, which would lead them back on the case, or they have to close the case because we won't be able to find out who did it. We all go home, which I thought was genius. But that didn't go that way. They wasn't gonna agree that he wasn't guilty. So they were like, he's guilty. The fake eyewitness guilty. Dude is about to get 20 years to life for a crime he didn't do. So the lawyer, she doubles back. She go back to the house with one of the jurors and everything, and she realized that the car that hit her was gone. Like, he sold it and blah blah blah. And then it dawned on her, like, oh, like at the end of the movie and stuff like that, it dawned on her like, oh, he didn't kill her. The person that we just gave 20 years didn't kill her. Yeah. Man, that was our first episode of Common Knowledge Podcast. I hope everybody like it. I hope you love it. KP, thank you. And everything. KX Studios, thank you. Everybody else, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Let us know what we can do better at. Keep in mind, this was our first episode, so take it easy.
Reintroduce Kenny Analyst. No ID.
No, yeah.
See y'all later.